Hey, seventh graders, today is the day 3, where you guys get to start ironing out your best design individually. And day 4, we're going to get together with your team and you guys will kind of figure out who has the best design. You guys will take a second to kind of present your design to the group. You'll analyze it. You'll kind of talk about what some of the great features about each of your guys' designs are and what are some things that we can improve upon for each design. And then ultimately, you guys are going to figure out the best design out of your group, see if you can make it any better, and then start putting your proposal together to send to the other class period. So for day 3, this is your best. Okay, learning targets. I can use the design cycle to develop the tastiest food product to suit the needs of my target group while keeping the production costs low. And I can use data as evidence to support my claim that I have developed my best bar for my team. Okay, going on to your bell ringer today, a little refresher for you. What is the engineering problem you are trying to solve during this project? So this takes us back to that very first article, request for proposals that we read in chapter 1. I'll include that link here in a second for you guys when I post this assignment, just so you have it in case you need to review. Describe the first criterion, meet the metabolic needs of the target population. So kind of answer what that means, and then why is it important? Why is it important that we meet these metabolic needs? Okay, describe the second criterion, have a high taste score. So again, what does that mean? Okay, how do we get that taste score? And then why is it important that it's tasty? Okay, I think that's a fairly obvious question. Same with this one. Describe the third criterion, keep costs low. Okay, again, what does that mean? And why is it important to keep our costs affordable? Okay, based on your research so far, which criterion do you think is the most important for a successful health bar design? So use your draw tool to either circle criterion 1, metabolic needs, taste score, or low cost, and then explain why you chose that. We're going to revisit this on the start of day 4 when we get together with our group and start talking about which person has the best health bar. Okay, so go ahead. You guys will need to pause this video after you guys are done with your bell ringer. Take a second to watch this first video called the design cycle. It looks a little something like this. Okay, it's going to kind of explain the process that we're going to go through today when we plan, set up and build our protein bar, test it through the sim, and then analyze what we need to change about it to make it better, and then how that helps us plan our next design. Okay, so it's very similar to what we're going to be doing today. So again, pause this video, complete your bell ringer, watch this video, and then you guys can go ahead and open the next link on slide 4, which is just going to be your sim, to have that ready when we come back to the video. Okay, so go ahead, pause, finish up those slides, and we'll come right back. Before we get started into your sim test, I just kind of want to point out some things here. So remember that each of your guys' health bars needs to be 100 grams. You guys can come up with whatever composition that you want. So far this little process, you guys have only isolated each ingredient and made like 100-gram raisin bar, 100-gram pumpkin seed bar, etc., and kind of saw the individual values of each of those 9 ingredients. Okay, now we're really gonna get into making a bar that's 100 grams that has varying ingredients. Okay, one thing you probably need to do is you need to go get out of the box, whether that's at school and you guys are at home, or if you're watching this in class because you missed a day or whatever the case is, you probably want your little half sheet that we went over not too long ago, where you guys kind of did the stars and highlighted or pluses or minus to say, hey, where's our target range at for our target group? What metabolic needs are being met? What are too high? What are too low? Okay, so that's going to kind of help you guys, all right, saying like, hey, pumpkin seeds had 3 stars. They were exactly where we needed as far as our metabolic needs for our target group of patient number whatever, okay, or rescue worker number whatever. So I definitely know I want a high level of pumpkin seeds. So make sure you guys take a second to review that, or go back to day 1 and review some of that data. I think day 2, part 2, and review some of that data as well if you guys don't have that little half sheet on you when you're watching this video and working on this. Okay, so if we look at this little example here, it looks like we have 46 grams of raisins. So under build, we would say 46. Okay, we'd kind of say how many grams of raisins we ended up doing. It's really important that you guys record these, because if you guys come up with a phenomenal bar and then you can't remember what you used for it, you may never see it again, because there's a lot of varieties you guys can do on this. Okay, and then I looked, I got 6 grams of pumpkin seeds, 37 grams of non-fat milk powder, 11 grams of puffed wheat, and those were our 4 ingredients for this bar. So I would fill all that information in for those 4 ingredients. And then over here it tells me I have 23% protein, 77% carbohydrates, and my glycemic index is about a 59. So again, that's where we can look and say, all right, are our metabolic needs of our target group being met with this bar in this constitution? Okay. And then again, same thing, you guys have test user 1, 2, 3, or 4. On your guys' data table, it's going to look a little bit different, but I'm going to show you guys where you get that data from. So if you guys are rescue worker number 1, 2, 3, or 4, or patient 1, 2, or 3, or 4, again, you just want your data for your group. That's your focus, and that has been your focus since the end of day 1. Okay, so if you guys are patient 1 or rescue worker 1, make sure you guys fill out your data accordingly. Remember that you guys are going for protein content, which is your percent of growth and repair needs met. So you guys would record that percentage here next to growth and repair needs. And then when we look at carbohydrate content and that combination of carbohydrate and glycemic index and how fast those carbs break down into glucose for our bloodstream, we're going to have our higher glycemic index is going to contribute to this percent of energy needs met after 15 minutes. And then percent of energy needs met after an hour is going to be a little bit lower glycemic index, high carb, low glycemic index. So those are going to be those 2 values right there. And then finally, you guys can see your taste score for your bar, your cost per 1 bar, and then if you had $10,000, how many people would be served off that? You're going to do that under people served. Okay, your guys' data table is going to look a little different, but when you guys do your analyze for this, you guys are going to really kind of need to ask yourself these questions every time you guys come up with a new design. So how well did each health bar perform? And that's going to, I mean, you guys have a lot of data that you guys are collecting for these bars. So there's a lot of layers to that question. Like you could be looking at your metabolic needs met, cost, taste, any of those things, okay, protein content, carb content, whatever. Okay, what were the percentages of the metabolic needs met for each test? So you obviously want high percentages, the higher the better. That means that each of those metabolic needs for your target group are being met. If you guys are really great in 2 of those percentages, but maybe you're really low in one of them, okay, you're not really helping your target group. So you really want high bars or high values for each of those 3 when it comes to percent of your metabolic needs. So your slow energy, your fast energy, and your growth and repair. Okay, if the taste received a low score, what will you add next time? So you guys have isolated each of your 9 ingredients and looked at overall what their taste is. But on top of that, you guys are so lucky to get to taste all those as well. The histograms are still hanging up on the board for you guys, so you can definitely go take a look at those and say, hey, outside of the sim as a class, what were your guys' tastiest ingredients and what were your guys' least favorite ingredients? Okay, so go take a look at those histograms to kind of help you out as well, because ultimately your guys' proposal is going to be accepted from the members of the other class period. So it wouldn't hurt to take a look at second or first period, whatever you're not in, okay? If not many people were served, what will you change to increase your access? Meaning, what's the cost of your bar? And if you had $10,000, are you only serving 3 people or are you serving 3,000 people, okay? So keep that in mind as well. Those are all really important things to consider when you analyze and then plan for your next one. Okay, so here's your guys' first design plan. You guys are doing 5 design plans. If you want to do more than that, you're more than welcome to go down to slide 12, right-click that slide on the side and hit duplicate, and then you can just change your slide 5 to slide 6 and add as many other designs as you want. But your requirement for this assignment to have some good variety is 5 designs. Okay, so you guys will go ahead, you'll tell me what you plan to do for your first bar. You guys will tell me what you ended up composing of it. So maybe you used 100 grams of raisins. I wouldn't use that, okay? Or, 3 grams of puff rice, 10 of soybeans, whatever. Okay, so fill that out, and then you guys can also, from your build screen, record the percent protein, percent carbohydrate, and your glycemic index of those ingredients that you used in that correct composition. Then you guys will hit test. Make sure that you guys either click rescue workers or patients. So remember, first period you are rescue workers, second period you are patients. Okay, and then each of you guys are assigned a different number in them. And then from the analyze screen, you guys will be able to record your percent of your metabolic needs that are met for that target group. So again, if you're patient 1, when you test this bar, you're only going to look at just do one of these really quick. You're only going to look at, like if I'm patient 3, I'm only going to record data out of this one here. Okay, so I just grabbed some random things, obviously. So and then final taste score, cost per dollar, and people served. Okay, then again, you guys got to really think about these questions that we just went over. Okay, how did your bar do? How did your first bar do? So here are some questions you need to answer for your analyze. What went well? What did you really like about your bar? Maybe it had a really high taste score. Maybe it served a lot of people. Maybe it had the highest bars for your carbohydrates. Okay, but what didn't go well? Maybe your percent of the protein for growth and repair that is needed isn't high enough. Okay, maybe you need to add some more of those ingredients with higher protein. Whatever the case is. So where do you kind of lack in some of your data? You're not going to be perfect the first time. And I'm sorry, guys, none of you guys are going to be perfect on any of these. At this point, it's kind of you guys seeing who can do the best, though. Okay, and who can use their data to kind of propel them into the next design. Okay, and then what do you want to improve on plan 2? So kind of tell me what you don't like and give me a plan on how you plan to improve it. Okay, whatever you guys kind of talk about, I don't like this and I want to improve this on plan 2, that's going to help you guys figure out what your plan is for plan 2. Okay, what's your plan to improve this design compared to the last design? So maybe you said that your protein content was pretty low and therefore your percent of your growth and repair needs were met, were a little low. And so you want to try to incorporate more protein. So maybe you say, what do you want to improve on plan 2? I want a little bit more protein in my bar. So how are you specifically going to do that? I'm going to add more pumpkin seeds. I'm going to get rid of maybe some raisins. So I'm getting rid of a little bit of carbohydrates, but maybe adding some more protein. Okay, so give me some specifics on what you guys plan to do differently on design 2. Okay, and then go ahead, you'll go through the same process. Again, this is that design cycle you guys just watched a video about. Record your guys' 9 ingredients. What's your percent protein, carbs, and glycemic index? Test that for your specific either patient or rescue worker, and then record your data for your specific target group. Again, what went well, what didn't go well, what do you want to improve on plan 3? And then again, same thing, how specifically will your plan or your design 3 be different than what you did on 2 and maybe even 1? Okay, so keep going through those. Again, you're required to do 5, but if you still feel like you don't have anything strong after 5, make some copies of slide 12 and do more than that. Okay, just change your little number right here. You guys can just click and change that to a 6 or whatever you guys need. Okay, all right, finally moving on. Once you guys are done with all of your 5 designs or hopefully more, you guys are going to take a look back and you're going to write a proposal. This is going to be the proposal that you deliver to your group to say, hey, I get to choose what this design is for our group because I think I have the best one and here's why. Okay, so I'm going to kind of break this down 3 slides by your claim, your evidence, and your reasoning. So the first one, claim which of your 5 designs is best. So you're going to look through your 5 designs. If you have more, look through those as well. Okay, and here's some different sentence starters that you probably need to use both of these. I think that my design number blank is the best. Okay, that's your first sentence. What design is the best? Okay, and then because you guys are kind of needing to give a little bit more information because I don't know what your design 5 is or your design 2 or whatever the case is, you probably want to tell me what you guys used for that design. For this design I used, and then tell me how many grams of each. Okay, this is again something you're going to present to your group. I don't know that, your group doesn't know that, you need to tell us that in your proposal. So now go ahead, skip down to slide 16. This might be different if you guys added more designs, but your slide looks like this. Go ahead, write your claim, tell me what you guys added to your bar that you thought was so great about it, okay? Moving on to your evidence, you need to provide at least 3 pieces of evidence. More evidence, the merrier, okay? This evidence should be observations from your data, and they should include numbers. If you guys are just saying, oh, it had a better taste score, but you're not actually telling me the taste score, I don't believe you. But if you're saying it has a taste score of 8 versus all my other designs, okay, then I have a little bit more grounds to go on and be like, man, 8, that's pretty high compared to his second best was only 1. Ooh, like that's significantly better, and that explains why you chose that one as your best design. So here are some sentence starters that you can use. In my data for design number blank, and then go ahead and tell me that specific data. I want to see numbers there, okay? My target population is blank, and they need this, this, and this. According to my data, my design has this, this, and this, and that last part is where you guys would include those numbers of what that design has. Okay, the taste score for my design number blank is blank, which is higher compared to the taste score of blank for design blank. So we should see some comparisons, whether you're comparing cost, taste score, metabolic needs, whatever the case is, I should see some data showing comparisons in some of your evidence, if not all of your evidence. And then finally, the overall cost for my design is blank. So again, you guys can address all those criteria. Remember, we're trying to meet the metabolic needs of our target group. We're trying to keep the cost low, and we're trying to talk about the taste. So you definitely should talk about 3 pieces of evidence that talk about all of those. Just because you guys chose a design and you say this is the best doesn't mean it's going to have the best value for all 3 of those criteria. And we're going to talk about that in 4. So it's okay for you to say, the overall cost for my best design is blank. This is the lowest compared to all the others. The next cheapest design is this. Or maybe, you know, maybe this was my second lowest cost, but it had the better metabolic needs and I felt that was more important, okay? So keep those in mind. Go ahead, take a second now, pause if you need to go find your evidence in your data and get 3 good pieces of evidence that all include numbers in them and comparisons. Okay, again, you guys are focusing on your metabolic needs, your cost, and your taste. Okay, moving on to the last and one of the most important, this is your reasoning. Each of your pieces of evidence is going to be followed up with a sentence explaining why that evidence matters. Okay, so provide reasoning for each piece of evidence you use. The reasoning explains why your evidence or observations prove that your design of your claim is right. Okay, so even though my design number blank is only the second highest on the taste score, I feel that this criteria is more important than this criteria because, okay, the needs of my target group are blank and this bar meets their needs because. So this is kind of the because of this. So you'll notice that most of them kind of have an explanation. Okay, I feel this criteria was most important because even though my design number blank is the second worst as far as cost, I feel that. So again, explain what you feel about it. This is important, significant because. In conclusion, so everyone should end with this sentence. In conclusion, design number blank should be the design used because. Why are you selling this to your group? Okay, are they going to buy your pitch? Are you going to even try to sell it with a good conclusion sentence? Okay, so go ahead, go add your reasoning. You guys should have a good, solid paragraph. If you look on here, it should be 8 to 10 sentences, if not more. Again, the more you guys write in there, as long as you don't lose your reader, okay, the stronger your argument is going to be. Finally, your exit ticket for today is you need to do this checklist, okay? Reread your proposal on slide 16. Read through the checklist below. If you have completed the task, so you read it, you say, yes, this is done, I put my claim here, great, use your draw tool, check it off, okay? If you did not, like, oh man, I didn't even put which design I thought was best for the first sentence, then you need to go back and fix it, add it to your argument, and then come back and check it off. So none of these should be unchecked, but they shouldn't be checked if they're not there either. So make sure you guys do it. If you guys are not have not completed the task, go back, fix it in your proposal, then check it off. If you're not sure, ask. Okay, hey, I can't tell if I put, 3 good pieces of evidence. Can you look at my evidence really quick? Okay, so go through. Claim clearly states which design is best. Claim explains the components of your bar, all ingredients in grams. So make sure you guys tell me what you put together in your bar. 3 pieces of evidence are included, and those 3 pieces of evidence use numbers, observations, and comparisons. So you guys are comparing to your other bars that you didn't think were as good to kind of prove to me why that was your best bar. Okay, each piece of evidence explains why the observation or data support the claim or explain why one criterion may be more important than others. And then finally, one last sentence to sum up why this design is the best and why your group should pick that design. So again, go back through, read your guys' argument here, see if it meets those criteria, check them off. If not, fix it so you can check them off. And then you guys can go ahead, hand this in. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.